So for our final speaker before the breakout session, we have Danny Easton from Horsham, UK. Danny Sensei is a Sandan and started martial arts at age 6. He trained for 20 years in karate and then began Aikido in 2009. He works in the financial sector and he loves to apply Aikido principles in that sector. And he opened Rusper Aikido Club in 2015. He's got wonderful energy and enthusiasm, and he hosts international seminars and has, in his words, a dedicated and very friendly bunch of students. So here is Danny to share with us his Aikido love story.
But as you probably saw on the slide, I started my martial arts training at the age of 6. I drove past with my parents in the car, and I said I'd like to go in there and start doing karate. And I did that until about age 25-ish. I could go with the reasons why I stopped, but I went out of the martial arts wilderness for about 10 years. And the epiphany for me was when my father passed away, because he was always quite disappointed that I'd stopped doing martial arts. Sadly, he never actually got to see me restart doing martial arts because he passed away. But I was very fortunate to have an Aikido club roughly 10 to 15 minutes drive away from me. But little did I know that my sensei, who's still my sensei, Piers Cook, would be half of a double act of known as the Chuckle Brothers. And his brother would be Quentin Cook, who's on the Aiki Extensions board, and many of you have met him. So for me personally, Aikido has opened a world of doors because of the connection with Aiki Extensions. I had my first foray with Aiki Extensions, I think it was back in 2013. Jamie might correct me on this, but it's 2013 when Bertram Vohak, who unfortunately is no longer with us, I think he passed away around about 4 or 5 years ago now, but he hosted a seminar in Germany, and all of a sudden it was like being a child in a sweet shop. There wasn't just UK-based Aikido, there was Aikido from all across the globe, and it just opened my eyes. It was fantastic. But going back to the time when I first met Piers Cook Sensei at the club, I went into Aikido with, I had a rough idea what it was about, because I've been in the martial arts world, but I'd never really experienced it. And when I first went there, it was the complete antithesis of everything that I'd learned in karate, which was hit hard, hit fast. And the harder you hit, the better it is. It's all to do with strength. Whereas, obviously, as we all know, Aikido is completely different. And that was highlighted to me when we did simple exercises, or key exercises, which was the unbendable arm. All of a sudden, I had that light bulb moment of thinking, crikey, you don't need to use power to come out with the same outcome as you would do by inflicting pain. And that's been my journey all the way through. That's what I like about Aikido. It's that compassion that you have. It's that sort of tangible love for that other person who's wanting to do you harm, but you don't want them to suffer in the process of actually saying, no, I don't want to fight, let's finish this amicably. I will put you to the floor, but you will be able to get back up again without actually feeling any pain. And it's just, I can't really put it into words. It's a bit like Larissa was saying, it's not where it's become her life, it's become my constant, and has been since 2009. I have a very long-suffering wife. I think she's quite glad that we're having COVID pandemic in some ways, because she's seen more of me than she has done in the 13, 14 years we've been married. I mean, I miss it terribly at the moment, the Aikido practice. I must admit, this is our 3rd lockdown, and this has probably been our most severe lockdown that we've actually had. And I've actually found it very, very difficult to engage with martial arts outside of the house. It's very difficult to actually put in words, but I feel like I feel like I'm being selfish to myself because I'm finding it very difficult to actually train at the moment, which is most unlike me. I do try, but I'm finding it very, very hard, much like everyone else. These video calls, I think, are a wonderful idea, but it's also slightly reminiscent of sitting there with your old school chums talking about what school was like and how much fun it was, where in actual fact you'd much rather be there, actually involved and enjoying it and being on the mat. But that's in terms of how I use Aikido. Thankfully, with Piers and Quentin Cook, they come from a very strong key background, as they were direct students of Ken Williams Sensei, who was one of the founders of UK Aikido. He studied under Abbey Sensei. So there's always been like a very strong key sort of foundation within our Aikido, and certainly mine, and to the students that I teach. And for those that know, in terms of the Tohei principles, there's 5 basic principles in Aikido, and the 2 that I actually use on a daily basis are put yourself in your partner's place and respect their opinion. You respect it and you work around it, rather than actually being diametrically opposed and having that clash. It's very, very important in my work, because being in the financial sector, being the intermediary, you tend to find that the client is shouting, screaming blue murder down the phone at you, and then you're having to absorb that, try and placate them, deal with the matter, and then come back. And Aikido principles really, really help in that respect. Before then, it was a case of, oh, woe is me, woe is me. And I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. Why is the client actually complaining? What can I do? What's he seeing that's different from what I'm seeing? Is it the situation? And Aikido has helped with that. And that's also probably underlined by the fact that the association that I'm a member of is called Aikido for Daily Life. So there in itself is a very good sentence to actually help ram it home as to why you should be using Aikido both on and off the mat. That's me.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Danny, for sharing. Love your upbeat spirit. And